published the book, we were sharing in workshops like this. In the church, in my church in Rumokrusi, in other churches in the district. And then we say, maybe we can take it to other churches in Port Harcourt. And we came to this church. I dropped a letter with this church. I dropped a letter with the church at Rumuokuta. They said the church board will look at the letter. Church board is still looking at the letter till today. That letter was dropped in 2007. I've not gotten a reply to that letter. But you know what happened was, I'm talking about design thinking, how you move from an idea to profit. Because your idea must solve a problem. I have so many slides there, but we can just stay here and I'll talk about everything I want to say. Your idea must solve a problem. So if you discover a problem, you need to be able to conceptualize the problem. You need to be able to put it clearly, the problem you are solving. And the questions you ask yourself are those things on the screen. Who is experiencing this problem? So for us that time, the question was, are there people that will be interested to read Nigerian success stories versus foreign success stories? You know the way you write a project topic in school, right? That is what you also do in business. When you have this idea, you're able to explore it, you're able to research it, and then you're able to have a business plan. If you go through school, unfortunately, some of these things I'm saying, I learned them over time from experience. As a young student those days in Futo, studying chemical engineering, nobody taught me how to start and run a business. It wasn't part of the curriculum. But what I've realized now is that in the outside world, especially in today's Nigeria, you must know how to start and run a business. You must know it. So for you who are still in school, this conversation is not a waste of time. You know, sometimes when we say these things, somebody will just yawn. Hey, I just talk now. Make we do another thing. You know. But think about it. If you are able to earn a little extra income to help yourself and support what your parents or your sponsors give you, wouldn't it make so much difference? And I always ask this question to young students. If some of your classmates can be schooling or doing business, let me take that again. If some of your classmates can be working or doing business and they are struggling to get a degree with you, and two of you are in the same class, they are working and schooling. I have my mommy here. She just finished her MSc. Well done, ma. She was working and schooling. And some of you here are only schooling. Question is this. If somebody is working and schooling with you, and the person is getting by, don't you think that you too can also school and do small business? Don't you think so? Don't you think so? Because after all, some of your classmates are those who are either out there doing business or who are in a full-time employment, and they are coming to school with you. Don't you have such classmates? Don't you? You have. All right. So we are not wasting time here. Okay, next slide. Let's move on. Next slide. So those are the questions you ask. If you ask yourself those questions, it will help you to clarify this idea, this problem you have discovered, how to be able to solve it. So when you have asked yourself those questions, you put it succinctly, clearly. Do you know the reason why you do this? The reason why you do this is that sometimes some of us, when we hear that selling pure water, you make money from it, kitty, 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 we go and look for how to go and start selling pure water. Some of us, When we hear that some people are doing forex, some people are doing which other one? Crypto. Some people are doing which other one? Eh? We run kitty, 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 kitty. We go and join. So, but the question is this. Like somebody that way, yes, sir. I greet you. He said he wants to turn his passion to profits. I like that. You know why I like that is that if the problem you have discovered is something that arises out of what you can use your skills, your knowledge, your experience to be able to resolve, that is always a business you can grow in. All right. So by the time you put this problem statement in a very succinct sentence like this, for example, this is somebody's problem statement, and the person is asking herself, is a lady, how might we increase access to cheap, reliable, and sustainable energy for Nigerians living in rural communities? So, Nigerians living in rural communities have the problem of power more than those in the city. And this young lady is thinking, how can we increase access to cheap, reliable, and sustainable energy? See, I want you to, after this session today, when you go home, go and Google how to write a problem statement. Because if you have an idea and you want to test it as a business, when you do this exercise, it helps you to clarify what you want to do. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so that's your assignment, all right? You have observed the problem around you. And if you haven't observed the problem around you, I want you to open your eyes today. There are many problems around you, in your hostels, in your school, at home where you live. So define the problem statement using those guidelines we gave earlier. I will encourage the IT to share this as PDF to all of you so that you can have the material later on. Okay, next slide. All right. If you have an idea, you must go verify the idea. Because somebody said that there are no facts in the building. So you can't start and end it inside your brain, inside your house. You need to research. Sometimes the research can be online. Sometimes it can actually be offline. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, can we go to the next slide? All right, ideation. You have seen a problem. Now you are going to create something from that problem. So moving from an idea, discovering a business idea. Why I am trying to do this is because many a time, some of you may want to look for how to earn extra income. And most of the time, it is what you heard your friend, your classmate say, I'm doing this one. You go and join and do that one. But it is possible that you can do something original. Not necessarily original that because you're the first person to do it, but original in the sense that this is something that agrees with who you are. Next slide. I want to run to somewhere. So these are the guidelines. When you get this material, you can go through this. So you gather business ideas. Let me not say business ideas. You gather ideas as they come to you. You keep gathering them. A time will now come when you now do knockout series and knock out the ones that doesn't fit into what you want to do. Next slide. Okay. Keep going. Let's go somewhere. Keep going. Just keep going. They will look at this later on. So as you gather the ideas, you try to think about a lot that can go with the ideas. For example, that story I was telling you. So from writing a book, what actually happened was that it gave rise to a radio program. Because When my three church and Rumukuta church didn't give us any response to come and hold a workshop in their church, free workshop. So I started asking myself, how do we do this same thing without having to ask for permission all the time? And one day the Holy Spirit told me that the answer was a radio program. How did I get that idea? So because I've been thinking about this question on my mind for quite some time, one day a friend called me, and that my friend used to work in a radio station, and he mentioned something about radio. Immediately, the Spirit told me that this is the answer to that question you have on your mind. And I moved in quickly to go and make inquiries on how to start a radio program. I didn't study communication. I didn't study broadcasting. But I knew I had an idea. And I knew the idea was already in the book. How do you start with nothing to be able to get something? All right. And the rest, they say, is history. We were able to get it started. It wasn't easy, but we got it started. And it grew. And it launched our business further. So one thing usually leads to another. So while we were doing this radio program, people kept giving us feedback through SMS, through phone calls, and all of that. And from that feedback, we were able to get another idea to expand the idea we were already working on. So from running a radio program, we were able to expand the idea to hold business conferences. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say in essence is that if you live here and there's an idea you've been thinking about, and after this conversation today, you decide to do something about that idea, it may lead to other ideas. I wanted to start farming, and I was thinking of the type of farming to go into, because I was reading up stuff. And some of those stuff I was reading was encouraging farming. And I was thinking, which one will I get into? And so, while I was in the States, I was in the US, and the idea came to me to run mushroom farming business. So when I came back, the first thing I did was to ask around, is there anybody that has a mushroom farm? And I was directed to UST, RSU. There's a farm there, right? There's a farm there, right? There's a farm there. Those in RSU, is it not so? So I went in there, and I started doing training with the owner of that farm. And after that, but I was asking myself, is there really a market for mushroom? I wanted to figure it out. So what did I do? I got some mushroom from a mushroom farmer. And there was going to be a wedding in my church, Rumukuta Church. So I told the farmer, send this mushroom to me so time on a Sunday morning. And before the wedding we end, the mushroom landed. And so I displayed the mushroom in front of the church on a Sunday when people came for wedding. And what I discovered was that I sold the whole mushroom. I was like, hey, so people will actually buy mushroom. And that was what gave me the courage to start mushroom farming. Even though at the moment, I have stopped for a while because from that small farm, I want to do a bigger farm. So I'm trying to fix it gradually. So what I'm trying to say is this. If you are consistent, one idea can always lead to another related idea. All right. Next slide. Okay, so I hope you'll be able, because the way this presentation is that if you read through it, you'll be able to understand it. Next slide. I know that very soon there'll be a break, but I want to get to somewhere in this presentation before we go on break. Next slide. Just keep going. So when you have gathered so many ideas, you narrow down the ideas. And this process of gathering so many ideas is what we call brainstorming. All right. So you want to start a side hustle. And you're asking yourself, which one do I do? Then you start asking yourself, are there problems around you that you can solve? What are those problems? You develop the problem statement. From there, you brainstorm new ideas. This thing we are talking about here, we do it all the time. Even if it's not for a business, for example. Sometimes when you're doing some things in school, maybe, for example, your fellowship is organizing graduation for the final years and all of that. Sometimes we run through the process of what I'm talking about now. You do a budget. They say it's too much. Like if it's in the church, maybe Pathfinder Club, maybe Adventurer Club, you do a budget. Church will say, it's too much. Say, cut it down. You keep running around. You brainstorm to be able to say, okay, what are the alternatives? Instead of cooking some type of food, what is it? So brainstorming is part of it. Next slide. Next slide. All right. From brainstorming and narrowing down your ideas, you're able to have what we call a prototype or a little version of your working business. If we have more time, maybe we can do this online. We'll take it bit by bit. I'm trying to discuss what we plan to do from end of this month. We plan to do this in 4 weeks. So I'm trying to discuss some of these things in a few minutes. So definitely I'm going to be jumping a lot of details. But the key thing is this. The key thing is this. Number one, who is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is someone that takes an idea to profit, that solves a problem, in the process makes money. Number two, how can you start a business? We are saying, do you have any idea? Are there problems around you that you can look at and see the one you can solve? It's always good to do something that agrees with you. It's always not the best of ideas to always jump into any reigning business. Next slide. Okay, next slide. Let's keep going now. Next slide. Next slide. Value proposition. Value proposition. So by the time you have been able to put your ideas together, by the time you have narrowed them down, by the time you have chosen one out of the lots, and sometimes, even when you're in the bathroom, you have these flashes of inspiration. Yeah? I don't know if it happens to you, but it happens to me. The right thing will be when you come out of the bathroom, you put it down in your journal. Okay? Or if you keep an online journal, you go and key it in. As you gather them, a day will come when you begin to look at which of these do I want to take up. All right? And so value proposition is what is unique in the solution you are bringing. So you say you have discovered a problem and you want to solve the problem. What is unique in this solution? Next slide. Next slide. Question is, does the Bible support being an entrepreneur? What's your answer? To develop one that connects with you. It helps you to build your competitive advantage. Like I've told you, my assignment is teaching. So I teach. But unfortunately, I don't teach in a regular school. I don't teach in a regular classroom. All right. I think that this is something I want to encourage all of us here. Which business can you key into? I want to tell you that the easiest business you can do is teaching. How do I mean? Every day you go online, people are talking about one thing or the other. Not be so. Not be so. Every day you go online, people are talking about one thing or the other. There are people who have built a very big network just by focusing on a small subject and constantly talking about it, constantly x-raying it, constantly teaching about it. All of us can teach, all of us, because it simply means sharing knowledge, sharing what you know, right? And the easiest place these days to be able to share knowledge is online. And a lot of people have been able to use this to be able to leverage on. So when we talk about what you can do, the online world offers us a very simple way out of it, to be able to deploy our skills, our experience, and our knowledge. So when you develop your competitive advantage, you can easily build a network online. Very easy. Very easy. Very easy. I want to relaunch my online platforms from this month because I've been so distracted for quite a while, but I want to relaunch them this month. And so if you want to connect with me online, my handles are just at Charles Nwahiwe, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, which is X now, or whether it's Instagram, is at Charles Nwahiwe. And my business handles are at Neokeci, Neokecci. And part of what I'm doing now is also part of what I teach online. Oh, yeah? Okay, so as I relaunch it, if you want to take this further beyond today's engagement, you can follow me. You can follow at Neokeci or you can follow at Charles Nwahiwe. We'll be able to keep sharing this knowledge because as we do that, God will help us. Before I became a PCM director, one of my obsessions was to be able to help students to be able to start a part-time business. But very quickly, I discovered that most students are not interested. They are okay to always constantly ask for help they will tell you they are busy, that they have lectures, they have exams, they have this. And that's why I always ask a simple question. If some of your classmates are working full-time and schooling with you, so how can you use studies to give excuse not to be able to do something part-time? I learned this. I joined Public Campus Ministries, I think, around 2017 or so. I can't remember exactly now. Over time, I learned that students are not interested to start any part-time anything. Okay, let me rephrase my statement because that may be wrong. But over time, I discovered that many Adventist students are not interested in running a part-time business. That is my experience. Maybe somebody may prove me wrong with a different experience. So what we're saying is, time has come that if you make the effort and be able to create small income, no matter how small it is, it will be able to help support whatever anybody is giving you. And over time, what usually happens is that over time, you build your skills in entrepreneurship. You know, one of the things that helped me to take the risk to be an entrepreneur was that one of the things that I learned over 15 years ago was that even those who do full-time work, when they retire at 65 or thereabouts, they will now be looking for the business to do, to keep busy. Haven't you noticed it before? So why should I learn to do business at 65 or 70? Why shouldn't I learn it now? And that's why I'm telling you that as young people, if you start building your skills now, I'm not saying you should leave what you're doing, your studies, your future career, profession, to start doing business. I'm only saying that doing a part-time business is one way to build capacity. It helps you to build capacity in so many ways. All right, next slide. Next slide. So, do you possess any of these skills, or can you learn any of these skills? Look at the skills on the screen. Preparing a financial ledger. You yourself, what is a financial ledger? Sister Ozema Bukonya is here. She's an accountant. I want to tell you that this is a skill that even though many may not have been taught about this in school, but it's a skill that you need to have a little knowledge of over time. But if you even have a good knowledge of it now, it's a skill that can help you create a business. Or can you code? I'm teaching my children coding. I have 3 children, and I have agreed with them. I didn't impose it on them, but I showed them facts and figures online. I showed them, they were able to see from data online that the jobs of the future lie in particular certain fields. Okay, let me rephrase that so that you won't quote me out of context. That the top flying jobs of the future, you want to be a carpenter, you want to be whatever, a lawyer, anything you want to be. I agree with them that, first of all, you will become a software engineer first. But that doesn't mean that they must go to university to go and study software engineering before they become what they want to become. So what I agree with them is that now, before they enter the university, none is in university yet, but before they enter in the university, that they would have qualified as software engineers. Though they are young, but they seem to be getting the idea, because my daughter has garnered some certifications so far. And, doing it gradually, not really in a hurry, but gradually. Why did I do that? Because, you see, in 21st century world where we are living, the ability to code, you may think that you're not an IT person, why should you bother with it? But I want to guarantee you that in today's world of AI, okay, let me put it another way. You know that one of our sisters in the church. So one day, my wife came back and said that this sister, that her car knocked engine. I said, how? I said, did she not notice anything? She said the sister said that there was a time she had a sound. She didn't know what the sound was. She continued using the vehicle from the church to the house, from the house back to the church for evening program, and she was hearing the sound. She was just managing the vehicle. And then finally the vehicle got knocked engine. And she had to park it at the church. Now, what is the problem there? The problem there is that, you see, because you drive a vehicle, you don't necessarily need to be a mechanic, but you need a little knowledge of Abi. Do you get it now? So in today's world of AI, you don't necessarily need to be the highest ranking software engineer, but you need some form of knowledge of software engineering. What about writing a business plan? What about teaching online? What about setting up websites and domains? What about selling online? A lot of people are making money from selling online. My wife has bought so many things from one lady that sells on Facebook. And I look at some of the things she buys, it seems cheaper because this lady has been able to devise a way to import these things directly from China. She doesn't have a shop, it's on Facebook. So how about a basic craft? Basic craft. One of the things I agree with my children is that everybody must have a craft, a skill. So in the house, I bought sewing machine. You know sewing machine? In fact, I have 3 of it in the house. You know why? I grew up in a home where my father and my mother were experts in sewing. Before my father got into business, my father used to have a very big tailoring business before he left that business and went into another business. So I grew up knowing how to sew. When we were young, if your clothes is torn and you're waiting for somebody to come and fix it for you, you're wasting time. Because everybody in the house knows how to sew. So if your cloth is torn, you have to go and fix it. Jump on the machine and fix it by yourself. And my younger brother took the art to a different level. Those days that he was in secondary school, my younger brother could pieces, when his friends buy this okay trouser and all of that, he could pieces it, amend it, couple it back. Nobody taught him. But because there's a machine in the house, everybody will just jump up. Anyhow you can do it, you just keep doing it. So as I grew up too, I bought it and I keep it in the house. And I told my children that, you see, All of you must know how to sew. Don't wait for anybody to come and fix your clothes. Why are we doing this thing? Because having a basic craft or skill is important. Don't think that because you're in the university studying a professional course, you don't have any business with learning any handiwork. It's not true. It's not true. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? It's not true. I started becoming interested in farming and agriculture, researching, building the skills and all of that. Gradually, and every day I'm learning more, every day I'm learning more, every day I'm learning more. It's also a skill. It's also a handiwork. So the question is, 3 things we want to talk about, or we are leaving with you, because I know we'll soon close. 3 things we want to leave with you. Number 1 is that entrepreneurship or business is simply discovering problems and figuring out solutions to those problems. And problems that enough number of people will be willing to part with money when you bring that solution. If you are solving a problem that it is only my family that have that problem, you don't have a business. But if you are solving a problem that many people can pay for, then you have a business. That's number 1. Number 2, we are saying that in today's world, there are some things that you must know. It doesn't matter the course you are studying. I told you that I studied chemical engineering, but today I am a teacher, and I'm here standing before you teaching this thing. If you look at my heart, in my mind, I'm wishing that you will all be business people. Why do I wish you all be business people? Not that I want you to leave your profession and become a business person fully, but because 1 Thessalonians 4:11 says that you must do your own business. It is the word of God. I didn't write it. You must work with your own hands. That means you must have a skill. I didn't write it. It's the word of God. And what is the reason? Paul gave the reason why he said you must work with your own hand. Let me read that verse again. I want to read it again. I know pastors have preached before. I'm not preaching, though. So that I'm not preaching, but this is important. It's important. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse, excuse me. Let me start from verse 9. 1 Thessalonians, IT, can you just hold the scrolling? Don't distract my audience, IT. Until I tell you to move, don't move. Are we together? Hello? Okay, great. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 9. But as touching brotherly love, you need not that I write unto you, for you yourselves are taught of God to love one another. Verse 10. And indeed, you do it towards all the brethren which are in all Macedonia. But we beseech you, brethren, that you increase more and more. Verse 11. And that you study to be quiet and to do your own business and to work with your own hands. That word, to do your business, if you read it in other versions, some versions have a way of translating it, but I like the way King James translated it. Some versions say, mind your own business. It doesn't seem to have the same weight. King James says, do your own business. After that, it says, work with your own hands. You know the way the Bible writes things, repetition in different ways. So, if he's saying do your business, work with your own hands, it means that you need to be able to empower yourself, okay? As we commanded you, why do you need to do this? Verse 12 gives us the reason. Verse 12 gives us the reason. It says that ye may walk honestly toward them that are without, and that ye may have lack of nothing. The reason why you learn a skill, the reason why you do a business, the reason why you do these things, Paul is saying that so that you will lack nothing. What is worse than a Christian who is always begging? A Christian that is always begging. But yet, you are serving a God that says that the cattle on 1,000 hills belong to him. You see why you need to be able to do business and work with your hands and learn a skill? And solve problems and make money. When I joined the church newly, about 3-4 months after baptism, I went for youth service. When I finished youth service, I came straight to Port Harcourt. So when I came to Port Harcourt, I was about, give or take, 1 year and a few months old as a Seventh-day Adventist. And so as I was reading more of E.G. White, I told one elder in my church that I want to be a pastor. The other was smiling, you know. It's okay that if you want to be a pastor, you need to go to Babcock, you need to do this. But brothers and sisters, I shared this experience because sometime later, I connected with a brother online that we didn't meet, but I connected with what he said online. Brother David Kukalov, a Russian. So David also wanted to be a pastor. Having studied E.G. White so much, he wants to be a pastor. David was asking people. All right, I will end with that story. My time is up. So David was asking people. And then somebody sat him down and said, how many pastors do you know? He could count them on his fingers. Just like if I ask you now, how many pastors do you know? You know a couple of pastors here, right? And the person now asks him, how many successful Seventh-day Adventist business people do you know? David couldn't count anybody. Did you get the logic? Did you get the logic? He asked him, how many pastors do you know? He knew so many. How many successful Seventh-day Adventist business people do you know? He doesn't know anyone. So, and the person asking him was also a pastor. He said, David, the church also needs business people. Not be only pastors, we church need. And so David started an English language school in Russia. So learning English is a big deal in Russia. He started an English language school. And through his English language school, so many people have become Seventh-day Adventists. You see now that mission field is not only when you become a minister as a pastor. Mission field is also in the everyday things we do. So, brothers and sisters, and that you study to be quiet, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 11, to do your own business and to work with your own hands, as we commanded you, verse 12, that ye may walk honestly toward them that are without, and that ye may have lack of nothing. After today, pray and ask God to open your eyes to what you can do to earn by the side. It may not be, you are still students, yeah? But is there something you can do to earn by the side? Because the Bible says that you should do it so that you will lack nothing. After today, you should decide that the begging for help should be coming down. Why? Because your skills that you're going to acquire, your experience you're going to put into action will be able to help you to earn a side income. After today, you should be able to decide that you must acquire a skill. If you don't, what I mean by that is a hard skill, yeah, a handiwork, yeah. Why do you need to do that? I want to end with this. Recently, I was thinking of how to teach my children certain things. So what I now devised was how we would solve some problems in the house by ourselves. For example, if we have plumbing issues, I will take them to the plumbing shop. We will buy what we need. We will come home. We will just fiddle around with it until we get it right. Why? I'm trying to pass a message to them. I'm not a plumber or a plumber, the way we say it, whichever one. But I'm trying to say that you must have a handiwork in addition to your professional training, or handiworks, as the case may be. As you do this and think of how to be able to grow a side income, when you look through the rest of the presentation, you'll be able to have more ideas. May the Lord bless you in Jesus' name.
Thank you, sir. How many people is saying a thank you to Elder Charles? Please just wave. Elder Charles, you can see everybody is saying thank you to you. I know that so many of us have one question or the other. We'll be joining live. Pastor Leo will be joining us very soon. Pastor Leo, please can we see you display? ICT, please, you can also show us to Pastor Leo as he just make a small presentation for us. But before then, I know so many of us might have questions. Are there those that have questions? Yes, please write down your questions. Yes, Pastor Leo is available. Please, ICT, take notes. And let's see, Pastor Leo. ICT, are you hearing me? Yes, on the Zoom link, please. Aha. Okay, so for those that have questions, just put down your question. And I don't want us to be in a haste to answer your question. So after the address from Pastor Leo, we are going to go for our lunch. Just as I told you before, our lunch, they are cooking it in an AC kitchen. So it's a very nice lunch. Yeah. So do well to join us. So Pastor Leo, we are good to have you. And after then, we'll come back and we'll take some of those questions and answer them while our panelists for the next section, Setting and Achieving Career Goals, they are here. And we can go forward from there. Pastor Leo, please.
It's a privilege for me to be able to be with you, and wish I was there in person. But maybe pretty soon we'll, by the grace of God, we'll be able to join you. I must say, just before I share my words with you, that I'm very impressed and very moved by the work that you're doing there by the gathering and the assembly, and it is a wonderful thing that you are together. Every time we come in contact with the Word of God, special things take place. My words to you today, especially in the context of working and or calling in life into what we call, I like to call them the concrete jungles of public universities. We understand that this is a wonderful mission field. It kind of reminds me in my mind of the experience that many people have had all throughout the history of the world. You see, this ministry, friends, has not started just a few years ago, but it seems to be something that God has used for years. At every advancing point, whenever there's a mighty revival, whenever there's a special revival that takes place of a reformation, is the mission field of public universities, or of universities. You might be wondering, where are you getting that from, Pastor Leroy? But when we look at